Alright, so let's see if I can do this in one take. Gonna go over what problems I was having with this motor almost all summer long and how it turned out to be a very simple problem that I thought I had fixed months ago. So, this motor was cutting in and out at certain rev range between about 3,000 and 3,400 RPMs. It was very unusual. Thought it might have been a carburetor problem, and that turned out to be okay. Then I checked ignition with the ignition coil and replaced that. Then I went ahead and replaced the cap and rotor underneath here, all new spark plug wires. I replaced the ignition module down here, which controls timing in advance. Replaced just about everything on the ignition system, and it was still having problems. And if I recall correctly, it was still the exact same problem throughout the whole time, where it was missing or losing RPMs through that certain rev range. And it turned out, long story short, to be a bad ignition coil that I got new out of the box. So I had gotten lucky enough to find a defective part brand new out of the box from AC Delco, which is like factory GM parts. And I fought with it. And finally, testing on it the other week, we put a spare coil on and the problem went away. And I was relieved and frustrated at the same time because a $65 part kept me off the water for the better part of the summer with the big boat. Granted, it saved me hundreds of dollars in fuel, but I would have liked to use the boat more. So I guess when replacing parts and going through diagnostics, you can't always count on a new part being completely functional, and that's what really burned me. And of course, as soon as we figured this out, and we did a few trial runs, everything was okay. It wasn't acting up anymore with the spare coil. The port motor, still tucked away over here, decided to lose RPM and just die on me under load. However, that was quickly determined to be a fuel restriction or fuel flow problem because you could see it not getting enough fuel in when you look down into the carburetor with the air cleaner off. So we came back to the dock and I ordered a new coil, which is here, and we went ahead and cleaned out the fuel lines on both motors back where the fuel tanks are, and sure enough there was a bunch of debris clogged up inside the fuel line and restricting flow. So simple fix for the port motor again, and just clogged fuel line, which we'll have to keep an eye on. And then for the starboard motor that had been fighting me all summer, it was just a bad part from out of the gate. So a few lessons learned. Can't always trust a new part, and I guess everything else is new, so maybe we'll be okay. New wires, new cap and rotor, new plugs, basically everything. Like I said, new ignition module. So a couple $100 later, we have all clean, nice new parts. So hopefully we'll get a few years of trouble-free operation from the ignition system, aside from regular maintenance and so on and so forth. So that is what happened. It was a single bad part out of the box that was DOA and kept me off the water for more than I wanted this summer, but it's finally fixed, finally good. Got the port motor fixed, running well. The next big upgrade I'm going to do is run all new fuel lines, all new shutoff valves, and get rid of this existing copper fuel line, which, you know, after many years, I'm not the biggest fan of that copper line anymore. So we're going to go ahead and get new 3/8 inch USCG approved fuel line and just run that from the tank all the way up to the motors and just have rubber fuel line the whole way and get rid of all this copper. So that should be a nice upgrade, and you shouldn't have to worry about anything else fuel related for a while. All right, well, that was the recap on engine trouble. Sometimes it can be the most simple thing that will really throw you for a loop. All right, thanks.